All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Bike to Campus Week. My name is Nick Goodfellow. I'm a sustainability coordinator at the University of Pittsburgh. Bike to Campus Week is a collaborative effort between University of Pittsburgh, Carnegie Mellon University, and Bike Pittsburgh to welcome all new and returning riders to Pittsburgh campuses. This year, we have turned the event into a virtual festival with more than a dozen sessions to cover all the essentials of starting a bike commute. This session is being recorded and will be available to watch starting next week on the Bike Pittsburgh YouTube page. We're filming this on Zoom, but we're also live streaming to Facebook. So if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask them on Facebook in the comments. We have people watching the comments and we'll relay them to our speakers. So I'll introduce our guests. Well, I'll give it to our guests to introduce themselves. Today we're joined by Karen Brooks and Robin Woods. So Robin, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, I do. I'm Robin Woods. I am the Shero for the Pittsburgh chapter of Black Girls Do Bike. I'm a longtime member of the Major Taylor Cycling Club.
Hi, I'm Karen Brooks. I'm the bike consultant for Carnegie Mellon University, also on the board of Bike Pittsburgh, and have been commuting for a long time.
So today's topic is accessorizing your bike, and if you're new to commuting, you may have seen people with Panniers or heard of fenders or are interested in getting lights and bells. Today's session will cover all of that with Karen and Robin. So take it away.
Right. Robin's going to speak, and I'm going to kind of do some show and tell. We'll kind of trade off. But yeah, we wanted to talk about what's good to help you be prepared.
Okay, my favorite things, Karen. Can you hear? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, guys? Yeah.
Yes. And now.
Okay. So when I'm cycling, my favorite things are, whether it's during the day, in the evening, are lights. And I see you have
very good point.
Light. Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
And lights are good for the cars and your backlight.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So lights are good. I think it sometimes when you're driving or even cycling, I think the lights help you be recognized by the motorists and other cyclists, because I feel like sometimes when people are driving, they may be in a trance or maybe just blind to the cyclist, and the light, especially if it's flashing, will definitely break them out of that trance. Having one in the rear can never hurt, whether it's day or night. Of course, at night, so you can be seen. And again, during the day, just to break another cyclist, especially if you're on the trail, out of the trance. That sometimes happens.
Yeah, I keep these lights on my bike all the time, and a bright sunny day like today, I might not turn them on, but then again, you can see how this really is eye-catching, this flashing, like
yes.
You said. And especially if it's cloudy, like it is so often in Pittsburgh, although we've been lucky this summer, but we're coming up in the season when it's likely to be cloudy a lot, and I like to keep my lights on even during the day when it's cloudy, just to keep drivers' attention, like you said.
And a very important piece for the lights is making sure that they are charged.
Oh gosh, yes.
So I have a little trick that I do. Karen, you mentioned that you have 2 bikes. Do you have a set of lights on each of your bicycles?
Yeah, actually I do. This is kind of my The faster bike with, you know, the drop handlebars.
Mhm.
I just have a small bag on it right now. Sometimes I don't carry a bag. It does not have a rack, so I don't carry that much on it. This bike is a cargo bike. It's not a real big cargo bike, but yeah, I keep a different set of lights on each one. And in fact, this one, my cargo bike has a generator light.
Okay,
This right here, it gets charged from the hub,
good.
which is really nice because I don't have to remember to charge it. It just goes
Exactly.
when the wheel's turning.
And for those of us who have more than one bike, I strongly suggest having a set of lights on each bike. It just makes it easier because if you're like me, you may not remember to transfer your lights from one bike to another bike. And what I also do to make sure that I charge my bikes, I have an extension cord. So what I'll do, rather than taking my lights off and bringing them inside the house and charging them and forgetting them prior to the bike ride, I leave the light charging where I store my bike. So I have the USB plug, the light, and an extension cord, and I just throw it over the handlebars. So no matter what, I'm going to remember to take that light with me because it's not upstairs. It's not, in a different part of the house or, in my car. It is definitely on my bike charging.
Really good idea. I think I might start doing that too.
Yeah, it works.
But like they come off easily, and usually this time of year, as it's getting darker, I'll forget to charge them because I'm just not used to keeping up with it. And then I'll bring it inside to charge it and go out for a ride and forget to put it back on the bike.
Right. So yes, me too. So that's why I leave it really close to the bike. So it's right there in my face.
Yeah, good one.
And what I also like, whether I'm cycling during the day or at night, is high visibility cycling gear. I really, when I first started out, I wore black. Of course, most pants are black, and that's okay. But for my upper torso, I like to have high visibility or reflective vest or a reflective material.
That is also a great point. Sorry, I was just looking for, I thought I had, this bag has some reflective stuff on it.
Oh, pretty.
But that's it. And the bag that I often use, I also have a light on there.
Mm-hmm.
That helps because it's a little higher up. But and this bag is black, so having something like you can get a separate triangle kind of thing that's reflective, like high vis orange. You can get vests, things to put over whatever you're wearing to make it more high vis without having to invest in a lot of special gear.
Sure. So Anna, do you wear a light on your helmet? Because I've even started doing that. So I have lights in 3 different places.
Yes.
I do have a light.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I do have a light on my helmet.
Yeah, I love it. It's really handy, especially in the winter, to just have redundant lights.
Sure.
But yeah, and there's like a back blinky. What's really nice about this is I can point my head at the driver and almost shine this light in the windshield, make sure they're paying attention.
Great. I don't have one for the front, but I do have one on the rear, but I don't think you can have too many lights.
True.
And I like the idea, as you said, you can, turn it to catch the attention of the motorist or another cyclist.
Yeah. Yeah, but I totally share your philosophy of the more lights, the better.
Sure.
In case you charge one or, you know, one stops functioning mid-ride, which has happened to me, it's possible.
It looks like your light, Karen, is pointed down. How many times do you see people on the trail or on the road with their lights pointed directly into your face and blinding you?
It has happened. It's not too frequent. Sorry, but it's a little hard to tell, but my bike is kind of tilted on the stand here.
Okay.
But I do adjust it so that it's not like in people's faces. I guess I try to make it like it's a headlight on a car,
Sure.
you know, pointing up at the driver's eyes, but at the road, not immediately in front of the front wheel, but a little bit out a ways.
Okay. Yeah, that's the proper way. A lot of people don't know that. I had mentioned that to someone during our weekly ride last week, and he says, "Where did you hear that information?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's been something that I read over the years." So I had to go back and find the information and submit it to him because he had no idea. And actually, if it's pointed straight out in front of you, I think that it's going to not show you some of the debris or potholes that are in the road, actually.
That's very true. I probably shouldn't have just done that, but I just pointed my camera right at the light, and
That's okay.
it's pretty intense. So yeah, you don't want to blind people. You're
Right.
alerting them to your presence. You're not trying to blind them. But you're right. You also need to see what's in the road. Potholes, as we know, there's a ton of them around here.
Yes.
So what do you use to, I'm sorry, if you're done talking about lights, or if you,
Go ahead.
I feel like,
There is a question about lights. Could you answer the question, what are lumens and what do they mean? And when people are looking to buy a light, what should they look out for?
oh, that's a great question. Lumens is probably the most common way to measure the power of a light. And you can see this one here, it says 650. Probably bike lights range anywhere from, the lowest might be as low as like 20 lumens on up to like, I've seen 1200. And there's sort of, the way you can think about it is low power lights are to be seen. High power lights are so that you can see. So like a weak light wouldn't necessarily illuminate much of the road in front of you, but at least it would make you more visible to other people. What's cool about lights is they are continuously getting less expensive for more lumen power.
Good.
It's kind of like computing, like memory, getting expensive memory. There's a law about that. I can't remember the scientist's name, but at any rate, do you, Robin, do you know what kind of lumens you have on your lights, like how powerful they are?
No, I don't know the lumens because I've had my lights for so long. But the one that you're pointing at right now, the one you have on the rear, I have one like that on a white light for the front. And I don't think it's for seeing as much as it's for seeing as much as it is for being seen. So I was thinking if I take my endurance bike out, it will definitely be during the day where I have the light on to be seen. But the jury is still out on whether it lights enough of the road for me. So I would probably take another bike that has a different type of light on it that is more for me to see, as opposed, it does both.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely the more lumens, the more lighting. And I'm happy to hear you say that the prices have come down, because when I was purchasing lights some time ago, you know, the higher the lumens, the higher the price. And so you're right. They start at about $20, and I've seen them go up to $150 for a light. So, you know, but again, you know, I'm sure there are lights out there that will do the same without someone having to spend $150 for a front light.
I will also mention that
I feel like this light, and I was going to demonstrate it, but it's not. You there, Nick?
Yeah, so I was going to mention that if anybody's looking to get a light on September 30th, Bike Pittsburgh has an Operation Illumination, which is a light giveaway. That's at Allegheny, where's that? Allegheny Commons. If you go on Bike Pittsburgh's social media, there's more details on how you can get free bike lights while supplies last.
Yeah, that's great, because I have, you know, volunteered and handed out those lights, you know, passed out those lights for Bike Pittsburgh, and that's wonderful. That's a wonderful concept. Karen,
Yeah.
I think I saw a bell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This bike is kind of like like a grocery getter, but I honestly really like having the bell. I don't have one on the other bike and I miss it. It's very handy for just occasionally I ride through Frick Park on my way to places on some of the gravel trails where there are pedestrians too. And it's just nice to be able to give a gentle heads up that I'm behind someone. Not necessarily to get them to move, but just so that I don't surprise anyone.
May I ask, how does that work for you when you're riding, say, on the trail, when you have that particular bike and you ring the bell? How does that work for you on a scale of 1 to 10? Because I don't know, I'm finding that people are really, really distracted. They don't hear my bell.
Yeah, these days, I mean, it's probably like a 6 or a 7 in effectiveness, because a lot of times people have headphones on, or they'll be walking in a group talking and, you know, just not paying attention. Sometimes it takes dinging it a few times. Sometimes I also have to speak up and just say on your left or something. You know, again, not to make people move, but just to gently be like, oh, hey, I'm going to pass you, so don't be startled. But it's funny. Sometimes I feel bad, like I'll ding it and people like kind of leap out of the way and turn around, like, oh. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. I was trying not to. But it's still very good. This bike, to be honest, I actually wanted to put a bell, but there's not a whole lot of room up here. And I kind of rely on the fact that my brakes squeal.
Okay.
When I hit the brakes, they squeal, and that alerts people that I'm behind them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've noticed the influx of people out riding a bicycle or bicycles. It seems to me that bells are more important now than ever before. But I find that right now, my voice is my best advocate, because I think people are just not in tune to my bell. And you're right, I do ring it 2 and 3 times, and I do have to call out on your left. And I also remind people, because I'm usually riding in the group, so I do call out, you're right, I'm on your left, and there might be 10 of us coming on your left.
Good point. Would you like to talk about how to carry stuff?
Well, in terms of what, panniers?
Yeah, bags, or even if, you know, like if you, I don't know, if you go for like just a casual ride where you're not going to necessarily buy anything, if you have a means to carry like things to fix a flat.
Oh, yes, the bike bag.
Yeah.
The bike bag. Yes. Never leave home without it. Never leave home without a inner tube, a spare inner tube or two. You can have a top tube bag, and that's what you're showing there is a bag on your top tube. And you have your extra inner tube, but you need something to change the tire. So there's a whole little kit that you'll need to travel to and fro. You'll need like I said, a spare inner tube, and Karen has a tire levers. You'll need that to take the tire off and to put it back on. And you have to have something to pump the tire up. And there she has a portable pump. Do you have a bike tool there just in case?
Sorry, there was a big truck going by.
Okay. Do you have a bike tool? There you
Yeah.
go. I think I see it.
Yep. Gonna unwrap it here. I've got one that has the sizes of hex wrench that I need.
Yes.
It also has a chain tool on it, which despite being small actually functions pretty well. Sometimes you can get a folding tool like this and they stick a chain tool on it and it's almost useless because it's too small, but this one is very functional. And I've made sure that this has all of the sizes that I need for my bike, which is important.
Yes, it is.
What does the chain tool do?
Question. So a chain tool is how you would actually repair the chain if it were to break, which is not, it happens very often, but it does occasionally happen. And what this tool does is there's it sort of screws in and there's a pin. Let's see if I can show this with one hand. There's a pin here that presses into one of these little pins on the chain. So what you do, let's say this link here broke and was all mangled, you'd take it apart enough so that you get like one outer link and one inner link, and then you can press them together again with a fresh pin. Sometimes I also, particularly mountain biking, I carry spare master links. That's what this is right here. You can see how it's different. That actually does not require a tool to be put together. But let's say like a regular link got damaged, I'd still need to remove that damaged part to put it together with the master link. So that's where the chain tool would come in. And it's one of those things, like if you don't have it, it's going to break. If you bring your chain tool, then you won't.
Yeah, some bike tools have them and some don't. I think because I have like 3 of them, and I know at least 2 of them has the chain tool. But I'm so glad that Nick asked the question because I wouldn't know what to do with it. I would just rely on somebody else that was with me or a knowledgeable passerby or neuver.
Which honestly, that's, that helps sometimes, especially if you're a newer cyclist, if you at least have the tools, and especially if you're riding somewhere like on a rail trail where there are likely to be other cyclists, even if you don't necessarily know how to use your tools, you might encounter someone else who does, who can at least help you get back rolling.
Absolutely. I notice you have fenders there. I don't have any fenders, but I have a temporary fender, but I like yours. And you can also remove that if you needed to, couldn't you?
Yes. This bike, it's kind of a bit more on the racy side of this, so it does not have a rack or fender mount. So this, it is easy to remove. So like there's just a bracket that goes here, and see if I can do this with one hand. I don't know if I can, but like it would just slide off the bracket. Actually, in fact, I don't have the fender on the front right now. There's the bracket. The fender would just slide on there. So it's easy to remove, which, oh, go ahead.
When you buy the fender, does the bracket come with it, or do you have to purchase that separately?
it comes with it, and there's a bunch of different styles. There are even, you can get like a real simple plastic fender that just attaches to the seat rails here, just enough to keep your butt from getting wet, you know. That's probably the simplest. And you could get another one like that, just a simple piece of plastic that attaches here to the wheel. I have even seen people make very simple fenders out of a 2-liter soda bottle.
Yes, I have one of those also. I forgot.
Oh, that's cool. This bike has more permanent fenders, and you can see there's the rack, and the fenders actually have these stays that are bolted in, and this bike has like a specific holes in the frame for fender rack, 2 separate ones. And then there's also mounts up here where the top part of the rack is mounted, and it also has mounts for the fender like under here and all the way down here. This is what's called a full coverage fender, how it goes like a lot of the way around the wheel, which is nice because the spray doesn't get onto your chain. Here's the front. It's kind of similar. There's a specific mounting point and a stay that holds the fender in place, and then it also mounts up here. These are real nice for city bikes where you know you're just going to have the fenders on all the time, and it gives you the maximum coverage.
I'll say that I found fenders to be super helpful when I was commuting, because when I commute, because a lot of times, even if it's not raining, the bike lanes are on the side of the road where a lot of the dirt and debris gets pushed to. And so again, even if it's not raining, stuff will be there and it'll be wet and it'll kick up. And if you're trying to go to work or go to campus, the last thing you want is to look dirtier than you already are maybe as a cyclist. So fenders really changed my bike commuting for the better. I mean, they were the ones that Karen just showed that are more coverage. I had to have the bike shop put on for me because I wasn't skilled enough at the time to put it on. But really, I can't, say enough good things about fenders.
Yeah, I never realized the benefit of a front fender until I did a ride one day in North Park, and the whole front of me was black. You expect it from the rear, but I was like, oh my goodness. It just kicked up in the front. It was kind of weird, but it did.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, especially the front wheel, as your pedals are coming around, when you turn the wheel, the spray will douse your shoes if you don't have a fender. And sometimes if it's raining hard enough, the water just goes like right down into your shoe. It's terrible.
Okay.
So fenders are nice.
I have a question. What's everyone's favorite accessory?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I kind of have a thing for bags, just because huge variety. I mean, there's the ones that go on your bike. I also have one that I carry as a backpack bag. This bike has a huge bag to put, groceries in. And I don't know, it's sort of like, I don't have many handbags, but I have a lot of bike bags. So I guess my girly thing, I spend money on bike bags instead of purses. But Robin, what about you?
I would have to say eyewear.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, I love my glasses. I even have prescription glasses for distance. And I like the different, eyewear. And I know one time I did forget my glasses, and I stopped at a Rite Aid or something and bought a pair of glasses, because you really need them to keep the wind, the debris, out of your eyes. And today, even more things, germs and bacteria, out of your eyes. So I would say eyewear are my favorite.
So you have, you wear glasses normally, and then you have specific cycling glasses that are prescription?
Yes, I do. And they just wrap around your face more. than your regular glasses. Like these are everyday glasses, but your glasses for cycling would give you more coverage and wrap around. And they're not with me right now, but yeah, I should have brought those up, but I wasn't even thinking about my eyewear until you asked that question, Nick. But yeah, I would say eyewear and gloves. We didn't talk about gloves. Oh my goodness, we could go on and on and on. But gloves for me are very, very important for several reasons. For safety, I've seen people fall and cut their hands. There was a fella that had posted something on Facebook. He was trying out his new cleats in his driveway and he fell and somehow he cut his hand. So he had his hand all bandaged up. So gloves are very, very important, especially also in the summer because my hands will sweat. Sometimes even with gloves, they'll sweat. And but they help keep your hands drier.
Yeah, that's a good point. I almost never, even like casual going a mile to the store, like if I'm riding this bike, I don't travel without helmet, glasses, and gloves just because I feel naked.
It's part of your outfit.
Exactly. And it seems like it's one of those things, if I just am lazy and like, oh, I can't find my glasses, I'm just going to go without them. Then that's the day that a bug will fly in my eye or something like that. So I try to keep them, in fact, all together. Like I didn't bring my glasses or gloves out, but like I'll have my helmet upside down and put the glasses and gloves in my helmet. So it's all in one piece and I can grab it easily. Do you use a rack, Robin?
No, I don't, because I bike strictly for recreation and pleasure because I live on top of a hill. I don't know about you, but I live on top of two hills actually. So no, I don't. I was going to, I had thought about it, should I say. At one point, I thought about a rack for my hybrid, but I never did. I just thought it looked really cool. And in case I did need it, I would have it. But no, I don't. And I've never ridden my bike to DC, nor do I plan to. So I don't have panniers. So.
Oh, that's a fun trip. You can do it with, there's a couple companies that will carry your luggage from town to town, so you don't have to carry anything.
Yeah, that's what I would have to do.
That's the way to do it in style. Yeah, so this bike, clearly, this is not for speed. This is for carrying stuff. So got the front basket and the rear rack. And I just have a single pannier on it, and it's kind of like a very casual shopping bag style. Like I can take it off and actually carry it in a store. Well, I could, stores don't want you carrying your own bags in there now, but
yeah.
It is, it's kind of, it's a heavy thing. Like I wouldn't want to add it to any bike. This bike, that's partly why I use this little bag, is it's way lighter. I mean, it doesn't carry nearly as much stuff, but this is sort of like my going more for distance bike. So I'm not necessarily going to be carrying stuff. And even if I were to go on a tour, I actually have a bag that fills this whole space, and then another bag that goes here. So they're lighter and simpler. So it just depends on, what you want to do. Anna yesterday was talking about her setup. Or no, was it Anna? I'm sorry. We were talking about setups for commuting, and that was Carrie this morning. She's got a rack and a pannier because she brings a whole other outfit to go to work.
Okay.
She's like, and honestly, I had been, like, I ride this bike sometimes back when I was actually traveling to work, but it is a little inconvenient because, like, if I wanted to change shoes, for example, there's not really much room to put it in. Like this bag, my backpack isn't big enough. So sometimes I ride this bike if I'm traveling to like a meeting or something where I want to change clothes, because I can definitely put a change of clothes in here and a laptop and lunch and, this, that, and the other thing. Just have to be careful because I have loaded so much stuff in this bike that it becomes nearly impossible to ride.
I really enjoy a rack, and when I was a student, Before I had panniers or any bags, I would zip tie or bungee a milk crate to the rack so that I could carry stuff in there. And that was super cheap. I mean, you can just find those like in an alleyway anywhere. And it's a great way to put your bag in there, or if you're doing light grocery shopping, to put a few groceries in there. And over the years, I've gotten more and more bags. But the rack has really helped me as a commuter because, you know, again, if you're going back and forth a lot and you're putting a backpack on you, that's an easy way to get a sweaty bag, which is not the.
Robin, do you ever use, do you wear jerseys that have pockets in the back?
I do. I do. As a matter of fact, that's all I wear. The only time I put on something that doesn't have pockets in the back is a base layer, of course. But yes, I stuff my pockets sometimes.
Okay.
And yeah, so I have the seat bag, and I do have all my jerseys have 3 rear pockets. Some of them only have 2 rear pockets. Those aren't my favorite. For me, more is better. But even my outerwear has pockets in it. So yes, I am a pocket woman. I like the pockets.
I didn't bring one out.
Inhaler, you know, a handkerchief and food, and my seat bags are small, and so I have, you know, some things in there, so it can't fit any more. I can't fit any more into it. So that's where my jersey pockets come in handy.
Right.
Yeah. So I noticed you have a U-lock on your other bike and your water bottle cages.
Yeah. This, I honestly, I brought this bike out before our session started in the backyard, and it's so big and heavy that a lot of times I just lock the back wheel to the frame so that someone couldn't steal it by rolling it away. I often don't even bother to lock it to something because I'm like, if you're going to haul a 45-pound thing off, I mean, I wouldn't leave it for too long, but that's like for quick shopping trips. And I just keep that U-lock in this bag. It stays in there all the time.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I sometimes bring a U-lock with this bike and just put it in my backpack. I also have, though, a lock that is a chain, a big heavy chain that I can put around my waist so that I don't have my bag, and that's pretty convenient.
You know, I always said that because I have U-locks, but I don't use them. I like the chain, like you said, and the cable lock. And but I always said if I commuted and I took my bike the same place and stored it outside, that I would just leave my U-lock on the bike stand or the bike rack.
That's actually, yeah, and I see that a lot around town. Like if you're commuting and you park in the same place every day, there's nothing wrong with just leaving this on the rack. Yeah, I think a lot of people do that because then you don't have to carry it with you.
Yeah.
It is kind of tricky though, like on like a bike like this, if I do want to carry a bigger lock, it pretty much means that I have to bring a bag of some sort because I have tried to like hang the U-lock off. It won't fit in this little thing. The U-lock is so big and heavy that you have to be careful where you put it on a bike like that. Like can't put it on the handlebars because it will make the handlebars turn. That's kind of why I like the around the waist chain thing because it's just not going to interfere with anything.
Good point. Good point. Plus it'll scratch your bike.
Yes.
Depending upon where you put it.
That too.
Yeah.
I have in the past, in fact, you can see there's scratches on the paint here. I used to try to put the U-lock like kind of hang it like this, which was sort of convenient. Beat the paint up so much that I don't do that anymore. Oh, and you mentioned bottle cages. Yeah, there's on here. For this bike, I have two because I tend to, then for longer distance rides where I might pour water.
Okay.
I recently did a ride where I had a bottle in each of these, and then I had a soft sided like water pouch that I put in this bag.
And when you have
you ever used one of those like a Camelback?
No,
Oh,
because I don't even want to carry me around. I'm enough weight. I can't imagine that on my bike. Like Nick said, backpacks make you sweaty. So no, I've never used one. I just have the 2 water bottle cages.
Yeah, that's something, it's so true. I used to use a Camelback, like that's a backpack with a water bladder in it and a hose that comes around. I used to use those for mountain biking, and I felt that after a while they're so big, I would carry so much stuff and so much water, more than I needed really, and it was just all this weight up on my back. So lately I've been using more water bottles, and then if I need extra space, if the pockets in the jersey aren't enough, I have a small waist pack for extra.
Do you have a preference as to the type of water bottles that you use, Karen?
Oh, that's a really good question. Shoot, I didn't bring them out here, but I have some that are insulated. I think there's a couple different brands. Polar Bottle is one. Oftentimes, if I leave somewhere to go in the morning, I put tea, like not real hot, but like warm tea in the bottle if it's chilly out. But then in the summer, I put ice water in there, and it's not like dramatically different, but it does keep things either cool or hot for a while. And that's pretty nice. How about you?
Well, like you said, I have the insulated, and when it's 90 degrees, I don't think it works very well. It still gets pretty warm, but it's better than not having it insulated. That's for sure, because I've carried Gatorade in a non-insulated and water and insulated, and definitely the water is somewhat cooler than the Gatorade. But I noticed that people are using the metal ones, the metal canisters, or the metal water bottles. And I'm told that it keeps your liquids either hot or cold, much longer. But I haven't tried those yet. Not for my bicycle, but I have some around the house that I use when I'm gardening. And it does seem to keep things colder than the insulated.
That would work.
90 degree days.
Yeah. A bottle, like on the bottle cage is sort of designed to squish the bottle a little bit so that it stays in there. And I would worry about a metal one kind of rattling around and not being held as securely, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if these flex a little bit. So like, you can, even these ones you can squeeze together to make it a little bit tighter so it holds the bottle more firmly.
Yeah, and you're right. They do, the metal ones that aren't made for water bottle cages, they do move around and they do rattle. I mean, because I've heard them. But one of the ladies that I cycle with, and she said she had gotten it from Amazon, it's metal, but it has a black coating around it, like a black sleeve around it that keeps it nice and tight in the water bottle cage.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, but me, I just go with the insulated because they're colorful.
Yeah.
Okay, we're coming up on time, so I just wanted to give you both the chance to say maybe one last thought or one last tip of advice. Anybody looking to get some accessories for their bike to help with a commute or a recreational ride, in a minute or so, what would you recommend as a first step or best practice that you recommend?
Helmets. Because of the COVID, many, I don't want to say everyone, but many people are cycling, first-time cyclers or cyclists, and they don't wear helmets. They don't wear helmets. So my suggestion is to get at least a helmet. You know, and I assume those people have never fallen also, but I would say a helmet.
That would honestly be my answer too. If you buy a bike, very next step is buy a helmet.
Okay, great. Well, thank you both so much for participating today. We really appreciate it. I'll give a shout out to our sessions coming up tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30. We'll be having virtual tabling so folks can stop by the Zoom or comment on Facebook if they have questions, followed by 2 sessions in the afternoon about Pitt and CMU's campuses and the bike amenities there. Friday, we have a session in the morning about accessing the trails, followed by a session about route planning and group rides. So thanks again, Robin and Karen. Have a great day.
Sure. I'll see you Friday.
Yes,
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see you.
Okay, sure. Bye.
Friday.
Bye-bye.